Hi, guys. All right. Jenna. All right. Tequila Talk Tuesday, episode 12. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you? I should maybe.
Good.
I'm gonna maybe lower this a sec. There. Oh gosh. Okay. There we go.
Perfect.
I don't know how to. Do you know how? Can you see the comments on your side?
Yeah, I can see the comments on mine.
Do they cover my face?
No, you're good. You're good now.
Oh. Okay. Just on my side they do, but
Yeah.
it's okay. How are
Perfect.
you?
I'm good. It's been a friggin' long day. A week, I think, and it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday. Yeah. Did you have fun this weekend though?
Yeah, it was good. We took the kids out and camping. We went boating. My kids were in the water for like 4 hours, just like being
Living the
thrown
life.
in, swimming. Yeah, it was good. Um, it was just like it rained out there. We didn't get like the massive storm, but it rained, and so we decided, hey, let's do a campfire now that everything like the ground's wet. Like we won't, start any forest fires. And it was
Yeah.
so smoky that now me and my kids have this like permanent throat thing going on. It just feels like we like suck down a thing of like a whole blanket of smoke. It's gross. But
Uh,
other than that, it was good. How was
oh, well,
yours?
yeah, I don't even know what I did. I honestly don't even know what I did. Worked. It was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. I made the same drink as last week because I did not have any ingredients for anything else.
I was going to, but then I saw this peach mango thing, the like juice thing, so I decided to do that one.
Well, it looks delicious.
Well, thank you. It's very refreshing. Um, so this is episode 12. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so
We've been doing this,
crazy.
we've been doing this for 3 months. Like, that's insanity. Episode 12.
That's a long time. And
Yeah,
now we are free, no masks, no restrictions.
I know. I'm so excited. And then we can meet up. We can have guests meet up. We can do live things, until you leave me high and dry when you go become a real estate ridiculous entrepreneur. It's going to be great.
Oh man, it's like
Um,
never ending. I'm like official today. I am officially licensed and registered with EXP, so that's super cool. Um,
exciting.
yes, it's very exciting, but there's still like a few other like little courses and stuff I kind of have to take for being new, but I'm like, I just want to get this freaking done. I'm ready to go.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome. I'm really excited for you. I mean, I'm like selfishly jealous, but I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you changed your Instagram handle. Everything's kind of like official. It's Homes and Hair with Jenna.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see your content and everything that you come up with because it's going to be exciting. I'm excited.
I was like, when was making this change to start this, I was a little bit hesitant, a little bit scared because I was like, oh, like, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? Like, are they going to think that I'm a failure? Blah, 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 blah. And then, like, even when I was, like, doing the course, I was just, like, hammering through it. And none of the stuff that I was doing, I was like, okay, I just, like, want to get out there, want to meet people because this stuff doesn't interest me. But yesterday, I think it was, I just, like, honed in on my computer on Canva, and I did like 6 hours worth of like planning out like my Instagram, like the content and like all the tips
Yay.
and tricks for real estate and how to like incorporate it in with my hair stuff. And it made me very excited because I really, really enjoyed it. And those 6 hours like flew by. I just like did it and looked up and I was like, oh shit, I should
That's
maybe take the
awesome.
dogs out.
That's amazing though. Um, you saying that kind of brings us to like the topic of this week, which is fear of success, you guys. And I know that a lot of people, whenever I talk about this with anybody, people just go, I'm not fearful of success. Why would I be afraid of success? That's just the silliest thing I've ever heard. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but everybody who doesn't take risks or doesn't like do anything to make changes or is afraid of change is afraid of success. Maybe not consciously, but definitely subconsciously. I think all of us have some sort of fear of success because it's change. It's a big change. And this is a big change for you. I know that you're going to be successful because you're just that type of human that's going to put her all into it, do all the things for it, and you know, and push push boundaries. Like I know that you're going to be successful of it. But like, have you ever had had time to kind of think and say, oh shit, I'm actually kind of scared of where this is going to go? Not ignore anybody else who says anything, but for you personally, are you afraid of like how your life's going to change and what it's going to look like? Because that's going to be completely different.
It's going to be totally different. And I feel like my whole move to Calgary, like making that jump, like the second I made that decision to move here, things changed. Like my life for the 10 years, actually probably like my whole entire freaking life, like I was such a planner, a scheduler, like I did everything. And now ever since being here and being self-employed, like I don't feel like I'm not doing a 9 to 5. Like I don't have a set routine. And so that part scares me, being able to, I need to do my morning routine. I've been doing it lately and it's freaking night and day, like game changer. But yeah, I am scared of like, I know I'll be able to handle it. Like I know that. And right now there's so many things going on. I have a lot on my plate, but it's also different and it's very exciting. So with the like being a little bit scared of what it's going to turn into and how big it's going to get, it's also so exciting. It kind of goes like hand in hand because it's like, okay,
100%.
I'm slightly terrified, but at the same time, I'm very excited. And I think back to that Tony Robbins 5-day event that we did and just being like, who am I not to do this? You know, like seeing all these people succeed and seeing everything that they've been able to accomplish. I was like, who am I to not do this? Like I have to.
Exactly. You're being called to it. And like it's I think like at the root of everything, like I said, and I said this like I say this a lot, but like the root of everything is that people are afraid of change. Everybody likes being in the familiar. Everybody likes doing things that are known to them and not necessarily comfortable, though. That's the thing, you know, like if we talk, like, let's go to an extreme here for a second and let's talk about like an abusive relationship. Most people, unless they do an extreme change, will end up in the same situation as they were, even if they've left the situation, because that's something that is familiar to them. Not comfortable. Let's not talk about comfort, but it's going to be familiar to them. And so so success and real change is very, very scary because it puts the unknown into perspective. Like you literally have no idea where things are going to go, what steps to take. If there's no guarantee, there's no you know, like for the real estate thing, there's literally no guarantee that you are going to be successful. Not successful, because I know you are going to be. There's no guarantee that you're going to be a millionaire. There's no guarantee that you're going to sell 4 houses a month. There's no guarantee that you're going to do that. But you're going to push for it. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're going to do. You're going to constantly push for it and push for that change. It's the same with my femininity stuff. I don't see, and that's the thing, like I don't even know what to call it because I don't know what I want it to be yet. I'm just posting about it. But like I have no idea whether or not it's going to be successful. I see things for myself, but I can't tell you if that's where it's going to go and if that's what it's going to be. There's no guarantee. Change is just embracing the unknown. And so I feel like hand in hand, success means embracing the unknown. Oh, I just came up with a quote. I got to write that down.
Write that down. I'll stop talking.
Yeah. Um,
Do you have
and
it?
so, yeah, no, I'm doing it right now.
Good.
I wrote down notes today because
Good.
I just like,
Good.
well, because I was thinking about everything, like, just because this is, I just feel like in the online industry, everybody's just like, fuck what anybody else thinks. You just do you. You push forward. You do this. You'll be successful if you put your mind to it. But we really need to really need to talk about the fact that it's fucking scary making big changes and taking risks like that. And people aren't they're not just going to do it on a whim. They're like, you know what I mean? Like we need to talk about the fact that moving into success and actually making strides and steps in your business, in your personal life, whatever it is, fitness wise, it takes change, and change is fucking scary. And that's, hold on, success is embracing the unknown. I'm a really slow writer.
I also think that, like, just in my personal experience, once you start doing it and you make like a drastic change,
Yes.
it does make it easier. It's almost like your risk tolerance goes up a bit. Like, I think of everything that I've done the last almost 2 years, and I 4 years ago, I definitely wouldn't have done any of these things. I would have made up so many excuses to not do them.
Yes.
And once you make a change to your life and lifestyle and your atmosphere and the people you're around, once you do that, it's still, everything is still scary. Don't get me wrong, but it's less scary, and your risk tolerance definitely goes up because you do that little change, you have some success, and that fuels you to be like, okay, well, I can do this next step, right?
I think it's also easier once you make that change. It's almost like, well, I did it. There's no going back now. And it kind of, it lets you automatically let go of what you were holding on to. Because I feel like people getting into, like falling into old routine. Okay, I'm going to talk about me for a second again, because I've been doing this constantly. I'm in a constant state of overwhelm right now, because and imposter syndrome and hypocrisy, and because I'm trying to make this change into this femininity, sensual, sexy boss babe, whatever it is like that I'm trying to do. And I am being hit with imposter syndrome and doubt and all of these things. And so I try and make all of these changes, like scheduling blocks of time where I can actually like work, and or posting things, like new things on my Instagram. That was actually the scariest thing that I did, is because I completely changed my presence on Instagram at this point. Shedding. Um so so for me, I make those changes and then I immediately go into fear mode, and I go right back into like old habits where I'm not scheduling. I'm sitting down to eat lunch. I like upstairs and immediately turning on the TV and getting distracted by, 5 episodes of True Blood or whatever the hell I'm watching, RuPaul's Drag Race,
Yeah.
but
I was gonna say
like,
True Blood or RuPaul.
right? So it's just like, but see, and that's the problem, is that I'm falling back into those old habits because they're familiar to me. They don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong, even though the guilt sets in. So I making excuses or reasons to procrastinate, or waiting until you're ready, or things to be perfect, your situation to be perfect. These are all things that I personally do, that those are the things that I need to change. And once I make that drastic change and actually stick to it and stick to the routine and be not disciplined, but consistent in everything that I do, that's when the changes start coming, and that's when it gets easier to let go of those old habits that I'm holding on to, because they do feel familiar. Um, and so that was a rant, and I don't know the point of it, but that's
Consistency is key with every aspect of life. Consistency is key. And
100%.
I think it's honestly like, it's just a no excuses mentality, and we kind of touched on it last week, like talking about how my mentality changed when I did 75 hard.
Mm-hmm.
It just was like, I had these things that I had to get done, I had to do them every single day, and if I didn't, I felt like I was letting myself down, and I didn't have to start over, but I mean, it was like little things, like when Pablo was doing it, he one of the tasks is you have to take a picture every day, and he forgot to take a picture. And so he was like maybe like a week, 10 days in, and so it seems so little, and so many people would look at that and be like, "Okay, come on, it's just a picture." But it's the mindset behind it. It's like, you said you were going to do these things and you didn't do it, so you need to hold yourself accountable. And that's where I was like, yeah, that really was a huge game changer for me, because I'm like, I'm not letting, no one else gives a fuck what I do, it's,
Yeah.
I'm letting myself down. And making that switch was like the best thing ever.
It's like it's setting your priorities. And I love this saying, and I feel like this is really important for a lot of people to remember, is that you need to, when you say like, oh, I don't have time, or I just forgot, or it's just so little, I do it tomorrow. Okay, so those are all excuses, and they may seem to you valid excuses, but let's change all of them with the words, I don't have time, it's not a prior, or like to from it's, I don't have time, to it's not a priority for me, or I just forgot, it wasn't a priority for me. You know what I mean? Like, let's change all of those things to priorities. And so when it comes to business, if you know that there's things that you need to be doing, even if you don't know like the direct steps to be doing them in, they need to become like, make your business your, like, one of your priorities. Pick 3 priorities and just make sure that you meet those priorities every single day. Even if I mean, not all of us can do 6 hours of Canva work. I wish I could, but you know what I mean? That was a priority for you and you made it happen. So even if it's like spending 20 minutes on Canva, or checking emails, or making sure that things in your business are set, and then taking time for yourself, that making those things a priority. And that in itself is a big change for a lot of people, because a lot of people really don't see the value in doing those little things every day, or having a routine every single day. They don't see them as priorities, and that's the big difference.
Yeah, and it's just, I think for any success, and like, if we're talking about like the fear of success and everything
Yeah.
that comes along with it, you have to be very, very, very specific in what you want your big dream, your big goal to be, because the more specific you get, the easier those steps will present themselves essentially to you. And I also think like, treat every day as its own thing. Like, don't feel, I think if you break it down into being like, oh, this is what I have to do this month, that's great to have, but you need to have all these little tiny wins on a day-to-day basis, because those little wins will amount to a massive win. Like, if I freaking work out every single day and eat exactly what I should be eating for my body, and I did it every day, no compromises, I'd be fucking fit in no time. But do I do that? No, I eat some chocolate chips and I do it there, because I have to say, it just wasn't a priority that day. And that's where being honest and truthful with it, and little tasks like make your freaking bed every morning, or little things like that, can help you feel accomplished. And if you're checking off these things, it will get you closer, because if you do it every single day, it gets you so much closer to your end goal.
I also think that, I mean, like, and on the flip side of that as well, like, because I know that you're very that type of person, where you are very specific in what you want to see and where you want to go, and goals of stuff like that. So on the flip side of that, I can't be that specific, because I have too many variables, aka my children, and I'm yeah, well, I mean, just my kids. Let's just be serious, just my kids. But like it, but I don't, I know, but I know specifically how I want to feel when I reach those goals. And I'm kind of living in, I want to be present in everything that I do. I want to be present in every scenario where I work on my business, be it lashes, be it this femininity thing, anything like that. I want to be present in those moments when I'm working on those things. And I do agree with you, celebrating every single small win, and will make it easier to know what the next step is to do, and helps you feel successful in the long run. But for me, getting super specific about my goals almost puts a lot of pressure on me, because then if I don't reach those goals, like I think you and I talked about it before, like if you set a goal of making $10,000 a month and you hustle and you hustle and you hustle and you push and you only make $8,000 a month. Well, you didn't meet your quota, so therefore there's automatically like that disappointment set in. Oh, well, I wanted 10, but you made 8 compared to the 3 that you made last. You know what I mean? Like I'm that type of person where if I set those really specific goals and I don't meet them, I will get disappointed. So I
I
almost need to focus on the feeling of how I want to feel and the idea of what I want my life to look like rather than what I want my business to look like or how much money's in the bank or anything like that.
Yeah, I think like just from my own experience this last year, I've listened to Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Tony Robbins for the last few years, and they always talk about like visualization is key. Like Andy talked about his freaking like visualizing what it would feel like to sit in his car and the way that it would smell and the way that it would feel and the certain stitching and things like that. And I think it's like down to that nitty gritty detail that I always struggled with. And I thought that I was doing it. And, I make vision boards, I do all these things. And I thought that I was doing it, but like there was a disconnect. And I think we talked about this. I don't know if it was on here or if it was during one of my lash appointments, but until this last trip of going to Kelowna and deciding to become a realtor and do all like talk about all these things and where we want to go, I now feel connected with my goal in the future, and I can visualize every tiny little detail, and it's just crazy. And I don't know if it's just
I think it's because you made a decision. You finally made a decision. I truly believe that because once you make that decision, then everything kind of aligns it with that decision, and you can see it. You and I have talked about this before too, like where like what I want this femininity thing to become, and you know what? I'm really struggling with I see all the details of this, like, well, because we talked about being on stage and and me talking to and helping as many women as I possibly could and stuff like that. And so I have seen the complete details of that. The thing is though, is that I don't know what steps to take in between. And I don't think you'll ever know what steps to take in between. It's not like there's a great big, you're driving down the highway and there's a roadrunner holding up a sign saying, do this next. I think
that it just makes you like so much more aware that when opportunities come to you and certain things like that Lash magazine, like certain things start happening, and I don't know, maybe it is because you do know this end goal, but there's just so many things that have happened that I'm like, this can't be a coincidence, and if you didn't have that goal, I feel like it wouldn't really register that these opportunities are coming to you, but because you have that, then it's just one foot in front of the other, and you start to see these things and you're like, yeah, that will get me there, that will get me there, and then it kind of like snowballs.
Yeah. Well, and I need to point on this too is that I changed my niche, I changed my dot. We talked about the dot, you guys. Go back and look at like episode 7, I think it was, or 8. But like I changed my dot because at one point I could clearly see myself flying to Los Angeles and lashing famous celebrities like Nicki Minaj and J-Lo and all these things. Like I could clearly see those details. I knew what the hotel looked like, but then after a while, that didn't align for me. And I think that those kind of goals and those kind of details are great if I still felt aligned to it. And then once I made that decision that that's not something I wanted to do, that vision of where I wanted to be with Lashwise kind of dissipated, and I moved into a different direction. I kind of want to talk about deconstructing your fear, a fear of success, because fear, like, what does Tony say? He says fear is the enemy of moving forward, or something like that, right? Fear keeps you standing still, and standing still keeps you from success. Very, very verbally, vomited there what he just said, but I think that deconstructing fear is a huge part of the business process. How do you deconstruct your fear? How do you recognize your fear?
Man, I'm trying to think of something specific. I think the biggest thing right now is no one gives a fuck. All of my concerns, the fears that I have, no one cared. Like, me thinking that people are sitting at home talking about me, like, no, not a fucking chance they are. Like, no one.
And also, if
No,
they are, it's none of your business.
well, yeah, and
Care.
it doesn't affect me. But that's where
Yeah.
this idea of what people were going to think. It after I did it, not one person had anything bad to say to me. Maybe they said it behind my back, but I only got positive stuff. And that just kind of like affirmed to me that it was all in my head and it was the story that I was telling myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, there's lots of things, yeah, that are basically kind of like that, because my biggest fear, I get, like, I don't even know if I have a big fear right now, because in my mind, I'm not, like, failing is not an option. Like,
I
it's
like
just
it.
not. Like, it's just not an option. And so currently, I don't feel like I have any fears right now. It was at the beginning of making
Yeah.
that change that's where I had that fear. And it was honestly like there was nothing I could do but just do it and confront it head on and just deal with whatever happened. And it was
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I mean, I have a specific because this happened to me when I was working with one of my business coaches, and I was having such imposter syndrome. Well, I don't even want to call it imposter syndrome. I was just fearful. I was just fearful. I didn't, and one of the things that she asked me, she flat out asked me, she's like, what's your fear? What is your fear of success? Why are you holding it? Like, exact same thing. And I just kind of went, I want to be successful. I don't understand what you mean. And so, but then you really have to listen to your brain and your intuition, because what popped into my brain was my kids. I was afraid. I didn't, it was so weird. I was afraid that I would be too successful or too busy. That's the thing. I would be too busy. I wouldn't have time for my kids or my husband. I wouldn't be able to go on vacations or anything like that because I'd be working all the time. My kids would resent me. And you know, like our brains constantly like go from like 0 to 100. So basically like my kids, like it went from like my kids would be mad that I'm working too much to I ended up divorced and alone. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that was my fear. And she was like, "Okay, are you the type of person to let that happen?" And I went, "No." No, I'm not. So why, like, what is this irrational fear happening? And so I think like deconstructing it and then realize, like, and then remembering, like, so the whole point of me working and pushing towards success and building the empire that I want to build is for my kids and for my family. For is for me to build an empire so I can have time and financial freedom, so I can hire people, so I have more time. You know what I mean? Like, there's always so what really helped me deconstruct my fear, and I recommend this for anybody that needs to like just like just get it out, is to literally what I did is I took a notebook and I just started writing anything that popped into my head. I don't care how ludicrous it sounds, how ridiculous it sounds, if you think that it could be true or not, anything that pops into your mind, just free flow write until there is nothing left to write. And I call it the bring it up and light it up. So like bring it up, write it down, get it out of your head, and then burn it and watch it just disappear. It is so cathartic, and it really released. So because now I have different fears about me being successful, like imposter syndrome. That's the thing. I really need to get over that. But like different fears. But I never once am I fearing that my success is going to stand in the way of me being with my children. And it's because I deconstructed it. And because I made that change, I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I think that's really, really important.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like that's so good. Like, super, super good. I like it.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I think the other thing that I wrote down on here is just like why we need to take risks. Sorry, I'm swinging on this stupid chair.
Why we need to take risks. Oh,
Yeah.
risks are the best thing ever, because anything great, you've heard this 1,000 times, does not happen in your fucking comfort zone. It just doesn't.
No.
I don't care what anyone says. It doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Me meaning
And I can tell you why. I have a
Why?
theory. Well, it's not a theory, but like nothing, success does not happen in your comfort zone because you can anticipate what's going to happen. It's your familiar zone. Everything's familiar to you. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know the things around you. There's no risk in the familiar zone because you know it. And what did we say before? Success is embracing the unknown. Oh my God, I'm right. I love
Mic
that. I
drop.
love it. It's my new thing now. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. Anyways, keep going.
I like that. No, I just think that I am such an advocate for taking risks, and don't don't do anything without like thinking a little bit about it, but just make the jump. Just fucking do it. Like there's nothing else to really
Especially
say. Like
especially when it
everything.
comes to investing in yourself. Like your real estate stuff, that wasn't doing it for anybody else. That wasn't doing it for like to appease your mother or father. That was investing in yourself. You took the risk and you jumped in head first because it was an investment in yourself. And you can't go wrong when you invest in yourself, ever.
Like every single thing that I've done, like every major thing, I'm like trying to think about, like me saying, like I pieced out of high school, like I skipped out on my last diploma. Yes, I still graduated, but I skipped out on my last diploma, flew to Mexico, spent the summer in Mexico, best relationship with Pablo. And I didn't, I was like, when I was like working at Prim, I think I was like 20 or 21 years old, and I was serving, and the restaurant that I was at burnt down. And I said, fuck this, I don't want to work in restaurants anymore. And so I saw an opportunity, and I was like, let me manage this place. And then I started managing and doing hair. And I just think, I don't know, like, I don't know what 20-year-old just says, like, oh yeah, let me be in charge of these 10 other women that are 10 years older than me.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's perfect though. You took like you wanted more responsibility. You took the risk to ask for it. Do you know how many people wouldn't have done that? They wouldn't have done that
Yeah,
at all. And like
everything great in my life has come from risk, for sure.
100%. I think that like because I mean I worked in the bar for 10 years and it was the best 10 years of my life. I want to say I made great money. I met my husband. And anything like everything that I made great friends, but it was scary moving to a corporate job because I had no experience. I was only just gotten out of school taking human resources and business writing, and then I took an English university course. And like, so I was not qualified. They took a chance on me, and I just continued to get, like to go through the ranks, and so that got very comfortable for me. I was very good at it. And the biggest, like, the scariest thing was talking to my HR manager and saying, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm not, after mat leave and after stress leave and all this stuff, like I'm not coming back. There's just too many things that I want to do, and I can't do them if I'm worrying about my corporate job. And so that was a huge risk for me. And out of that became my full-time lash business, coaching online, meeting Jenna, Tequila Talk Tuesday, like getting to connect with all of these other influencers on Instagram that I'm really excited about nourishing those relationships. And you know what I mean? Like it's just I never would have gotten there if I had been stuck working for a bunch of lawyers. And I'm very grateful for it because it taught me a lot, but I, would not be here, I don't think. Nope, I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Take the risk.
risk.
If there's anything that you're thinking about doing, do it. Do it.
We are advocates of just doing it.
Yeah.
Doing all the
Legit.
things. Yeah.
Just like Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. All the promotions on here. RuPaul, Terramana, The Rock,
Hashtag
Nike. Yeah. Well, I really liked this episode. I think I could talk about fear of success for a really long time. I mean, just because there's just so many things surrounding it and things that hold us back as human beings and as entrepreneurs and business owners, just purely based out of unsubstantiated fear. Because
have you listened to any of Brene Brown's stuff?
no, I'm so behind.
Well, she has this like documentary on Netflix or something, and Frank, what is it called? Something to do with courage. But anyways, she always says, this is the story I'm telling myself. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so true. There's so much that we make up in our mind and we start spiraling. And yeah, like so many times Pablo won't text me back for like, or won't answer my phone call. And I'm like, oh my God, did he get a car accident? Like, is everything
Yep.
okay? Like, oh my goodness. And he's like, yeah, just with a client. And it's just like this ridiculous story you tell yourself. And she said like how if you're always thinking of the worst things that could happen, just then turn to gratitude and just be like, I'm very thankful for our lives and our health and all these things. So I say a lot of grateful things all day long.
Well, gratitude is, well, it's one of the most powerful things in the world, because if you're grateful for what you have, the more of what you have you'll get at times 10. I really like, actually, I feel like we should talk about, we should have a story, like a story episode, because there are so many people out there that we could talk about stories all day. Like think about people who say, well, I can eat anything and I don't put on weight. You know, like people are going to talk, like probably like come for me and say that that's genetics, but that's still a story that they tell themselves, you know? Or, you know, like I don't know, like I'm so lucky I win at blackjack all the time. Like, and it's true, right? Because they actually believe it. So then it's starting to come manifest and come to fruition. It's just like the story that we're telling ourselves, like we will, like, it's okay. We're going to interview The Rock. It's no problem. You know, like we're going to get there. And that's the story that we're telling ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we could talk about stories for a long time too, because that's just,
sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's all my notes. I think we covered all of them. Yep.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is really good. I'm excited for us to now be able to maybe do some fun, maybe some fun on location stuff. We should get creative for the next one. Well, we should.
We'll figure it out. It'll be good. I feel like, you and I have talked about what we like. So, and that's another thing, you guys. I think what's going to happen now is, because we know that this is an obscure time. We get it. It's like the middle of dinner time, or like, you know, you guys are just busy scrolling. You don't want to stop and watch it, you know, whatever. But so what we're going to start doing is, I think we're going to actually start pre-recording our episodes earlier in the week and then releasing them like a TV show.
So every Tuesday at 6, they'll be released, and then you can watch it whenever the hell you want to, because most people are not watching it live anyway, so they watch it after the fact, and might as well embrace that.
I mean, we get like we'll get like 250 views like after the fact, and it's like, oh, okay,
I know,
cool.
always after the fact, And so this will be good. I think do some pre-recordings, because then with our schedules just being all over the place all the time, then we'll be able to make it good, and we can do it whenever we want.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then we're pretty excited about like reaching out to some new guests too. We're gonna start putting together like that PR package is almost done. I'll text you after. And then this is it. I really liked episode 12. Episode 12 was fun. I'm excited about it.
It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. This stuff, this topic I could talk about forever.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys. It's been a really fast. Can we do song requests? We don't sing. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, I didn't see any of these things. Pablo, get out of here.
Hilarious.
I didn't see any of those. That's so funny. Pablo, go away. Love you.
Well, we love you guys. Thank you for watching episode 12. This is really exciting. I can't believe we've been doing this for 3 months. And
that's crazy.
Yeah. Wait, don't hang up the song requests.
Ignore Pablo. I don't know what that means, but maybe he wants your opera.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Not right now. Not right now. Well, we will see everybody next Tuesday. In the meantime, have a drink for us. Drink some Terramana. Tag The Rock. Tag us. You know, all the things.
All the good things.
I'm basically done. I'm thinking another
I finished in the first 10 minutes. It's fine.
Oh, well, I'm like trying to pace myself here, so I have some left by the end of the episode, but fine.
Not me.
Can you say farewell in a sing-along type of way? Opera is welcome. I'm just ignoring your fiance. Husband.
I was like, is she gonna
Boyfriend.
do it? Is she gonna do it?
No. No. All right. We love you all. Have an amazing night, and we will see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye. There you go, Pablo.